and then I'd be like, all right, this is it. I'm going to draw a box around this thing, and this is going to be my purpose. And I'd try to force it, and I might do it for a few weeks or a few months, and it would fall through, and then I'd be upset. How do you find your purpose? This is a question that I remember I explored a lot in my early 20s, and I struggled with it because I felt like there were all these great exercises and question banks, things like that, that I could journal about and try to figure it out, but I never actually got a clear sense of what my purpose was. I wanted to, I really wanted to, because I knew motivation would flow from having a purpose. I saw other people have a purpose, and motivation, came from that. And so I would get somewhere, and then I'd be like, all right, this is it. I'm going to draw a box around this thing, and this is going to be my purpose. And I'd try to force it, and I might do it for a few weeks or a few months, and it would fall through, and then I'd be upset. And at some point, maybe there was this sense of well, maybe I just don't have one. Ultimately, I realized that purpose is just another way to frame doing that has a sense of meaning. And it's the meaning that comes from the doing that's what gives us the experience that we're looking for, that feels good, that's motivating. And how do we know when we have that experience or a similar experience? We feel it. We know something feels good when it feels good. We know something doesn't feel good when it doesn't feel good. A problem that we face is that we sort of have these heuristics about what has felt good in the past, where we keep trying to go back to those same things. I remember I tried to play video games in my 20s that made me feel really excited and good in my teens, and they just didn't give me the same experience. For a minute, there was that same hit of nostalgia or same hit of good feelings, but it just didn't give me the same excitement. It didn't give me the same flow state. It didn't give me the same joy. And ultimately, there was almost a sense of grieving in that. But that's a subject for another video. What's important here is to notice that the only way to get in touch with your passion, your purpose, is to be aware of your experience as you're doing. If you're aware of how it feels and not bringing in the past assumed how it should feel into the moment, which means actually just being aware of your experience as you're existing, as you're doing, and collecting that experiential data consciously in the moment, you start to clarify and get a sense of how something feels when you're doing it. And it's the only way you'll ever know what feels good to do. And that's where your answers are. Your answers aren't in seeking the validation or approval of others. Your self-worth doesn't actually come from other people thinking you're great, special, awesome. That's not going to give you what you want. Being self-directed, self-driven, self-motivated, intrinsically motivated, what that means is to be conscious of your experience of life. Certain not in a rigid, opinionated way, but certain in a, this is my experience and I value it. And I don't value it defensively. I don't push away other people's opinions or perspectives. I evaluate those as well. But in terms of my experience, my truth of experience, this is how I feel. And the more that starts to come alive, the more you can't help but find your purpose and your passion. And meaning starts to flow into your life. And authentic, intrinsic, exciting motivation flows into your life too. I did create a course that you can take. There's a link in the description. That would be a useful tool to explore this. And in it, we have access to a bi-weekly motivation mixer with me and a bunch of other people who have taken the course or are currently taking the course. But you don't need that if that's not what feels right to you, right? This is all about doing what you want to do. So just check in, make it a habit. What do I want right now? Do it, but also don't assume that you're going to have the experience you think you'll have when you're doing something. So stay conscious of what does it feel like to do what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And the more you do that, it won't be magic and instant, but over the course of weeks and months, and definitely over the course of years, you're gonna get on the scent because you're paying attention to what you're smelling. You're gonna get there. You're gonna find what feels good and meaningful. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a really wonderful week.